What makes us human? Curiosity? What makes us curious? Space?
CBS Television presents a special report on Sputnik 1, the Soviet space satellite. Douglas Edwards reporting.
Until 2 days ago, that sound had never been heard on this earth. Suddenly, it has become as much a part of 20th century life as the whir of your vacuum cleaner. It's a report from man's farthest frontier, the radio signal transmitted by the Soviet Sputnik, the first man-made satellite as it passed over New York earlier today.
Well, I think the importance of Sputnik was first and foremost that the United States wasn't, the only place this was going to happen, because this was launched by the Soviets, the Russians. So I think that was the bigger shock about Sputnik, that it wasn't us, it was them.
When the Soviets launched Sputnik in 1957, they kicked off an electrifying era of space exploration, yet suddenly put the US in a position of defeat, thanks to a president taken by surprise due to his failure to understand the significance of space.
These things were already in the air before Sputnik, but what Sputnik does was make it practical, like this has actually happened, and now we need to sort of move to the next step.
The initial thrust to get it into the air comes from the lowest and biggest of the rockets in the tandem. When the American satellite is launched, the takeoff power will come from a rocket like this one shown in a recent test. The powerful thrust of the Aerobee sends the whole assembly up through the dense stratosphere, a layer of heavy air 50 miles thick surrounding the Earth.
This single moment in history would define the entire future of the human race, from lone pioneers on a blue rock to beings able to travel from planet to planet.
38-year-old American standing on the surface of the moon. On this July 20th, 1969.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
But to get to the good moments, you have to go through bad ones as well. Before we could walk, we had to crawl.
Many years ago, the great British explorer George Mallory, who was to die on Mount Everest, was asked why did he want to climb it. He said, because it is there. Well, space is there, and we're going to climb it. And the moon and the planets are there, and new hopes for knowledge and peace are there. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked. Adieu.
Above and beyond the increases I had earlier requested for space activities, to provide the funds which are needed to meet the following national goals. First, I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
The moon landing in 1969 was such a huge deal. It was, first of all, it was the part of the space race, was the culmination, the end point of the space race. And NASA managed to do what Kennedy had announced. We need to get to the moon by the end of the decade. And sure enough, in 1969, you have Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon. So in that sense, it was a national achievement. But I think what has happened is that it was such an amazing achievement. I mean, even today, it's still an amazing achievement. But can you imagine in 1969? It was just beyond words. So because of the amazing nature of this achievement, it has tended to overshadow a lot of everything that's come later on. Everybody sort of romanticizes that period. But I think if you really look at the long history of the space race or the space age, there's so many other things. And, people forget all the practical benefits we get out of space, everything from communications to TV to, just mobile communications, weather forecasting. But people also forget all the really amazing achievements in deep space exploration. We just had a probe pass by Pluto. I mean, I can't think of anything more incredible than that. So, and of course, all the stuff that's gone on in terms of Martian exploration. So all this stuff, I think, has been overshadowed a little bit because we're very nostalgic about Apollo. But I think to really do something significant, we have to look to the future. The past was great, but I think it's time to sort of reorient that towards the future.
From that single moment in history, we have learned so much about the universe, and along the way, learning what it means to be human. But let us not get lost in memories of our past. Instead, let us use our history as a key to our future, unfolding pivotal events that one day will become part of our rich history.
His lifelong passion is space, and when eBay bought PayPal in 2002, Musk started looking for ways to launch his new fortune into orbit.
Recharge human space exploration. That was my original idea.
You just wanted to get people interested in space again?
Yes.
Capture the imagination?
Yes, that was the idea.
It's an exciting place to be, for sure. You can feel the energy. It's also really amazing how people are working at these things that their dreams are so high up, but the things that they're doing are very mundane and practical. We were walking by and people are working on rocket engines, on rocket casings, on spacecraft, on spacesuits. They're doing stuff in a place that otherwise could be just any office, but they're doing stuff to get humanity off the planet.
Who knows what will happen one day, but maybe AP history will be taught in a galaxy far, far away.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end, no dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning they. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.